I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Bellflower City Council, acting on behalf of the successor agency to the dissolved redevelopment agency and the Bellflower Financing Authority, Monday, March 26, 2018, to order, 7 p.m. We're returning from closed session to open session with no reportable action. Let the record reflect that all city councilmen are here. Tonight, I'm going to do the invocation. Economic Director Jim Delalaga is going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all please stand. Dear Lord, I thank you for this opportunity to come before you tonight. I want to thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to serve as mayor this last year. And I want to thank you for the wonderful men, my colleagues on this city council, men who care about this city and love this city and do what they do only for their love for this city, not their personal gains. I would like to thank the city staff for taking care of me all year long. They've been a real blessing to me, and I just pray to God that this city can continue to progress the way we have in the last year. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
March 29th is National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day, a day to celebrate the value that family-owned small businesses bring to our community. These days, mom and pop businesses face many challenges as they compete against larger retailers and service providers with expansive budgets. This is why I wanted to remind you that March 29th to come out and support local mom and pop shops in the city of Bellflower. Mr. Dutton, please.
Thank you, Mayor. As a friendly reminder, there is an adult and senior trip to the Harrah's Casino on Wednesday, April 18th. The bus will be leaving at 8:30 a.m. and will be back at 6 p.m. The fee is $10, and walk-in registration is being accepted at Thompson Park, located at 14001 South Bellflower Boulevard. The registration deadline is Sunday, April 1st. For any questions, call 562-866-8614. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Garza, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kaiser Permanente has installed drug disposal kiosks for a pilot project aimed at reducing the risks posed by unwanted and expired medications. The actual disposal is managed by a registered pharmaceutical waste handler in an environmentally safe manner. There are 22 drop-offs throughout California. You can visit kaiserpermanente.org to find a location near you. Also, the next National Drug Take-Back Day is on Saturday, April 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Kaiser Permanente Bellflower Medical Offices located at 9400 East Rosecrans Avenue. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Mr. San Ynez, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to take a moment to remind the community of a new program our Parks and Recreation Department has unveiled. LEAD, that stands for Leadership, Experience, and Development, is a program for teenagers ages 13 to 17 who are interested in gaining valuable life and job experience. LEAD helps the youth in their professional and personal development while also teaching them the importance of community involvement. The application deadline is May 4th. For more information, please contact Angelica Sievers at asievers, that's ASIEVERS, at bellflower.org. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. San Ynez. Mr. Coops.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a reminder of the city's next general municipal election, which will be held on Tuesday, November 6, 2018, for City Council Districts 1, 3, and 5. This election will be consolidated with the general election conducted by the Los Angeles County Registrar of Voters. Our goal is to make this transition as smooth as possible. Therefore, if you have any questions about this election, voter registration, or in which council district you reside in, you can please contact the city clerk's office, and you can find them at 562-804-1424, extension 2227, or via email at cclerk@bellflower.org. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Coops. Okay, tonight we're going to have a proclamation for the National Women's History Month, and it's going to be accepted by the Seroptimus Club of Bellflower. If you'd all please join me over here. Women's History Month. In 2018, theme for National Women's History Month is Nevertheless She, what? Nevertheless She Persisted, honoring women who fight all forms of discrimination against women. The 2018 National Women's History theme presents an opportunity to honor women who have snapped America's history and its future through their tireless commitment to ending discrimination against women and girls. So therefore, I, Ron Schnobliger, Mayor of the City of Bellflower, do hereby proclaim March 2018 as National Women's Black History Month, and it's signed by me, Mayor Pro Tem Dutton, Juan Garza, Dan Coops, and Sonny Sandy Inez.
Thank you very much. The Bellflower Seroptimus Club works to help women and children and organizations and families within the city, and we are happy and proud to be a part of this community, and we thank the City Council for your support throughout the years.
No, the DMV one's out.
I didn't get the memo, but I figured it out. I didn't get the memo, but I figured it out.
You didn't get the memo? Okay, Myra, it's that time.
Next on the agenda is the City Council reorganization. Nominations are now open for the office of Mayor of the City of Bellflower. Nominations do not require a second.
I would like to take this opportunity to nominate my longtime friend of 45 years, Mr. Ray Denton.
Thank you, Ron.
Councilmember
Endorsement
Denton has been
required. I'll
nominated.
second the nomination.
Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, nominations are closed. When I call your name, please state aye or no. Councilmember Denton?
Aye.
Councilmember Garza?
Aye.
Councilmember Coops?
Aye.
Councilmember Santinas?
Aye.
Councilmember Schnobleger?
Aye.
Congratulations, Mayor Denton.
Well, thank you.
And now I'll turn the meeting over to you to conduct nominations for the office of Mayor Pro Tem.
He already took the hammer. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Nominations are now open for the office of Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Bellflower. And nominations also do not require a second.
I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. I'd like to nominate my longtime friend and council colleague, Mr. Sonny Santianez.
I'll second that, even though we don't need one. Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, the nominations are closed. City Clerk, will you call roll?
Councilmember Garza?
Aye.
Councilmember Coops?
Aye.
Councilmember Santinas?
Aye.
Councilmember Schnoblecker?
Aye.
Mayor Dunton?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Okay. Congratulations, Sonny. Now we'll take a minute to, we'll swing seats now.
Okay, we got to.
Yeah, you go to over there somewhere. All right.
Oh, do we have to do it now?
Are they going to switch the side?
Whoa. That was fast.
Yeah, it don't take much.
Ron, text me, huh?
Text me if you need something.
Wait, this is yours?
I guess that's. Yeah, okay. I didn't know what
I didn't open them. Yeah, I guess I better have them.
It appears the city clerk got the names changed quicker than we can switch seats. All right. All right. I'd like to thank my colleagues for putting me up here and having the faith in what I do over here. And it's not, it's special, but it's not as special as the first time. And I just want to thank you. And we work so well together. And we may not always agree 100%, but we seem to get the job done and point the city in the right direction. And with that, we'll move on to item 11, public comments. Mr. Stewart.
This is the time set aside for the public to address the city council on matters not listed on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the city council should come to the podium, be recognized by the mayor, and state your name for the record. If you wish to address the city council on an agenda item, you may do so by approaching the podium as we review that particular item. You'll be given a reasonable amount of time to address the city council.
Anybody wishing to speak of an item that's not on the agenda tonight, just come on up to the podium and state your name and take it away.
My name is Ali Taj. I'm City Councilman for City of Artesia. I'm just here to congratulate the outgoing mayor for his great job this year. Thank you so much. Also want to congratulate the incoming mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. I know you'll do well. You and I, we've worked, in fact, the city council has worked with me at several issues, especially with contract cities. So I'm here to represent our great city as well as congratulate you as a council working together and making your city a great city to live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Not seeing any then. We'll move on. Public hearing item 12A, Mr. Stewart.
This is a consideration and possible action to conduct a public hearing to adopt resolution number 18-10, a resolution approving entertainment permit case number EP 18-01 to allow live bands and karaoke at an existing restaurant within Area 1 of the Town Center TC District on property located at 16530 Bellflower Boulevard. The applicant is Isaiah Ocampo from Calaveras, Inc., and I believe you have Ms. Brune here to make the staff report to the City Council.
Okay. Let's see what you got.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I have a short presentation for you regarding entertainment permit, case number 18-01. The subject property is located at 16530 Bellflower Boulevard, north of Belmont Street, within Area 1 of the Town Center District. A brief background of the past approvals and actions for the current restaurant, Calaveras. Calaveras opened for business on May 9th, 2016, and was granted a conditional use permit for a Type 47 alcohol license on May 16th, 2016. Between December 2016 and July 2017, Calaveras received 6 temporary use permits, covering a total of 17 days to allow for entertainment events at the restaurant. Staff and public safety did not receive any complaints regarding these events. However, in January of this year, acting on a complaint, Code Enforcement issued a warning letter to Calaveras for having entertainment without a permit. In response, Calaveras applied for 4 temporary use permits. The last was for March 2nd through March 4th, and for this entertainment permit. The applicant is requesting an entertainment permit to allow for live bands and karaoke on Mondays through Saturdays from 8:30 p.m. to midnight, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be no cover charge and no dancing. In addition, there will be 2 bonded, unarmed security guards located at both entrances during all hours of entertainment. There is an existing stage located along the north perimeter wall near the front entrance of the restaurant. It's not showing. No. Well, I'd show you. It's highlighted in blue there. This is the existing stage. The bands will perform on the stage at all times. And for the karaoke component, the system will be placed on the stage, but the singer will be not on the stage, but rather facing the stage right about here. BMC 5.36.080 allows the City Council to grant or deny the application for an entertainment permit based on the findings. The required findings can be made to support the approval of the requested entertainment permit as indicated on resolution number 18-10, page number 7 of the staff report package. In addition, the Public Safety Department has received calls for service, but none were deemed significant by the Public Safety Department. And staff has not received any responses to the public notices that were mailed out and posted. Staff recommends to open the public hearing, take testimonial and documentary evidence, and after considering the evidence, adopt resolution number 18-10, or alternatively discuss and take other action related to this item.
Thank you.
This concludes staff presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant, Isaiah Ocampo, is also in the audience to answer any questions.
Any questions of staff at this time, guys?
I just have one minor question, Mr. Mayor. When you talk about the karaoke, not that I sing well, okay, the question is, you said that the singer is going to be facing the stage, right? Will the lyrics be visible by the other customers?
Yes.
In other words, can I sing along with the singer?
Yes. There will be one microphone that will be placed off the stage where the singer is. Here above the stage is a TV screen on the wall. That screen has the lyrics for the music.
So I can see it too if I'm just eating or dining?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to come to that, Sonny. When are you going to go?
On opening day, how's that?
Any other questions of staff? I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing then.
Second.
Got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santa Ynez and a second by Councilmember Juan Garza. Without objection, that'll be the order that the public hearing is opened. This is a time for the public to come up to the podium. If you got any questions about this, you have any questions or what's going on, or if not, I'll call the applicant up.
I have a question. What type of music? Is it mariachi band or anything? Is it hard rock?
Just music.
Okay, that's,
We can't censor music, types of music.
okay.
I think
I'm
it's a
just
freedom of
curious why.
speech there.
The food is good, but I'm just wondering what kind of music they're going to be providing. Thanks.
If you wanted an opinion, I think every one of us would get a different opinion of what we like.
The operator.
Yeah. Anybody else from the public got any questions? Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, and former mayors.
Yeah.
So I just want to give you a little bit of a background. of
What's your name?
My name is Man. Wait, write my name here.
Okay.
So in 2014, I moved to a new nice community called Belmont Court, which is located on Bellflower. The cross street is Belmont Street, which is just right across the street right there. And we are about maybe less than 30-second foot walking towards Calaveras. I have been there myself, and the food is nice, so thank you for that. But however, in 2014, the problem wasn't Calaveras. And I presented the evidence of the noise disturbance coming out from Spike Sport Bar. And I'm sure a lot of you were there.
We recall that,
I'm
yeah.
sure that you guys work on it. And then the issue was very severe. And then by then, the county sheriff, I think, no, the Lakewood sheriff was here and vowed to take care of the issues because there's been a lot of gang activities, and also it took a shooting over there to shut down the club. And ever since the club was shut down, we have been living in a peaceful life. Because the amount of foot traffic coming out from the Spike Bar, it's not just the foot traffic, it's because people were drunk and also yelling on the streets and also start to fight. And sometimes people drive the car and ram on another pedestrians and in the alleyway. So basically, in our situation is we're located at the center of all the buildings that is surrounding us, and it's act as an echo chamber of all the noises coming out from all the restaurants around us. So that was the past. And now let's talk about the present. In the present, last year, especially, they now start having live performance in the Calaveras. It wasn't, I mean, the music was great. I mean, like, I can hear it pretty loudly, and I hope to sing along too. The problem is, the music was nonstop all the way to almost 2 a.m. And I can tell you the truth is a lot of my neighbors were very unpleasant of the noise harassment that we have been enduring for years. But we thought we caught a break when Sport Spice Bar actually was shut down. But now the Sport Spice Bar actually we opened in the other front, which is there's some dance club over there. I forgot the
French
name.
Quarter?
Yeah, French Court. And then my neighbor talked to me saying that the foot traffic coming out from the French Court also is disturbing because they sometimes, well, when they leave the property, they may have, they were still blasting loud music in the car on the way driving through our alleyway that echoes really loudly through our bedroom windows, which is pretty much within 10 to 20 feet from the ground. So I'm sure that if you go to our Facebook page, there are a lot of complaints that we shared about the noise issue. And for this case of Calaveras, since they are applying the permit, to my surprise, they are applying for a permit from 8:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. every single day, not just the weekend, but every day. I thought they were just applying for the weekends, that maybe we can negotiate a little bit. But first of all, I want to ask is if there is any, or if, like, consideration of the soundproofing of the restaurant, because right at the location of the stage, there's basically just pretty much glass doors, and sometimes the door is not closed because they have customer outside. And the music is blasting right out of the restaurant, and we bounce back to our residence, which is just pretty much half a block away. We can hear every single cowbell that's going on. We can hear every single bass drum and snare drum that's going on. Like, I'm a drummer myself. Like, if you talk about, like, annoyance of noise, like, I have the highest tolerance of noise because I play drums. But even me, I cannot tolerate that kind of noise level at night. You talk about 12 a.m. You try to go to sleep. 1 a.m. try to go to sleep. 2 a.m. finally music is down, but people start coming out. They start coming out, and they're kind of coming out like after the fact, maybe like 2:30. You hear the footsteps, you hear the people driving out the cars, you hear people talking and still having fun in the parking lot. A lot of times we have to call in the cops around 3 a.m. in the morning and telling them we still have people yelling or maybe having fun and screaming in the parking lot. And then a lot of time we call them to the Lakewood Sheriff's Department. Sometimes they say they will take care of it. Sometimes they say there's nothing they can do, which is back to the situation that we had in 2014, which is the Sports Spice Bar. I don't know, are we going backward on the noise level issues or what? But pardon me to read out some of the law by Belfast Municipal Code. The Chapter 17.48.8080 is specifically stating that for restaurant, espresso bar, coffee house, and cocktail lounge entertainment, the letter C is saying that the purpose will not generate adverse impacts that negatively affect adjacent parcels, such as noise. So I'm here to urge you to look at this before you grant any permit. And also in the Chapter 17.74030, item B6, noise amplified sound, such as music television, shall not be audible beyond the lot line. So I don't know how it could happen unless they have very high quality soundproofing that costs maybe $100,000 to do the proofing, the soundproofing barrier. And even I want to read you the Chapter 17.52 M-1, even in the light industrial district, not residential district, if the letter C saying no use shall be permitted which produces or causes or emits any dust, gas, smoke, glare, noises, fumes, odors, electromagnetic emanations, vibrations, which are or may be detrimental to the safety, welfare, health, and peace of the city and its citizens. And I'm regret that I did not present any hard evidence. I forgot to record the noise level when they were blazing the music through the door and through our double glass window. And I would definitely will start recording any issues that are coming forward. But I'm here as one of the 30 residents in the Belmont Court. I urge you to really consider our health, basically, and our well-being and the peace of living in the Belfast. And basically, we just try to stay alive from having a good sleep and go to hectic work the next morning. Thank you so much.
Okay. I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Since you brought up, because I understand where you live is right in between the French Quarter, which used to be Spike's.
I live on the northeast corner.
No, I know. It's,
yeah.
Because this is the first time we've seen you since 2014, and because you were here and it was bad. Spike's was bad.
Yes.
And we fixed it. Has the French Quarter been better?
Has
it been okay? Is it?
I have to be honest. They have been okay most of the time. Okay. But I can tell you, it took only one sound to disturb you from sleep. Should I call the police because of one sound that one person? It's the same conversation we had in 2014. Like, someone go by your window, yell and talk loud, laugh loud, and walk away.
Okay.
How do you call the police?
So that still kind of happens very
Of
occasionally?
course, it happens. Like, when the clerk presented that there's no significant evidence, I tell you, it's very hard to present evidence because people come and go, and we're at the bed.
Well, if you're here, I'm believing you. I just wanted to, you live there every night, you sleep there every night, so.
And I personally
That's why I'm asking, because I understand if it's just occasional or whatever, it ain't worth coming and.
And I personally emailed the former Mayor Ron, Mr. Ron, on May 27th of 2017 regarding to noise issue. I hope you received my email, but I have not gotten responses. But I do notice there's some improvement. Of course, like there's no more live band going on and stuff like that. I'm sure that you took my email seriously and as a consideration. I thank you for that. But I want to let you guys know that the issue has not been gone. It's just that we got more tolerant, and we got tired of calling 911 or even the sheriff department, that when they say there's nothing they can do, there's always something they can do. It's a law written in this paper. I just pulled out from the website. This is the ordinance of a noise. This is not just random, it's not this case, it's not random noise. It's a consistent noise between 8:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. I hope you seriously consider before you grant any permit to the restaurant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, I have concerns about tonight's thing also because the whole front of that restaurant has roll-up doors, and if they're open, it's very loud because I've heard it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not just that restaurant. It's they also have another restaurant, I think, we're opposite to on the Bellflower side. And they also have a karaoke before, and now, I think now they stopped it. That was just basically directly blasting through my neighbor's window, and it's been crazy.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak on this before I hear from the applicant?
Hey, buddy, can I say something?
Come on up, the podium's all yours.
Hey, that Spike Bar's okay because I've been by there and there's nothing, no noise. The only noise
Okay.
I've heard.
You need to state your name and talk in the podium so we get you in the minutes. And,
This one here?
yeah, and we're not talking about spikes because they don't even exist anymore.
Oh, no, that one bar, well, that bar down there is okay because I've been by there and it's been pretty good because I help hand out flyers for them, and the one that's really loud are that Hispanic bar down there. I mean, they get really loud because I've heard them.
That's who we're talking about tonight, I think, the Calavaleras.
Yeah,
that's what
that
your
one
request.
is really loud.
What's your name?
Linda Fry?
Okay, we need that for the record.
Your name's Buddy.
I'm Buddy.
Hi, long.
I like Buddy.
Do I need to sign the?
No,
Okay.
yeah, you're supposed to sign it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, but that,
Yeah.
I know that one restaurant is noisy and loud.
Okay,
Because because I live not too far from it.
where do you live?
Right there at 9924 Florida Vista Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Anybody else? Not seeing it, okay. We'll hear from the applicant now, after that. Dig yourself out of the hole.
That's actually, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, it's okay.
My name is Isaiah, owner and,
Isaiah?
Isaiah, owner and, GM of Calaveras.
Okay.
Yes, I read, on the 33 conditions that I have, one of the conditions is to close the windows.
Yeah.
And we can always do we can always do a sound check. I'm always open to do a sound check. If they wanna we can play the show, close the windows, and do a sound check. I'm more willing, I'm open.
Right.
I don't wanna be a problem or for the city. I wanna be a plus to the
Right.
city. I
Yeah.
wanna be part of the growth and everything. I see all the investments and all the upgrades that you guys are doing to the city. And as a property owner as well, I wanna thank you for that, and I wanna thank you for letting us do our business here. We're really happy, and we're doing great.
Gotcha. Well, you're like the longest restaurant that's ever been there, I think.
Yeah,
So you must be doing something right.
Yeah,
Glad to have you. With that,
I have some customers from Bellflower that always walk in there. We're just here to check if you're still here.
yeah, let me hear, I think my colleagues got some questions before I,
You understand that should you get this permit, you're already under the microscope from bars and other establishments that have been there for years and caused problems and were unruly, and we had to go through the whole process of shutting them down. So you understand that if the neighbors over there get up in arms and come in here in force, you'll be facing the same thing. So it's up to you to to make sure your noise is under control from the very first day and every day, or we'll be right back here again with the whole neighborhood up in arms. You
Yeah.
under-
Yeah, I
It might not be
completely
fair to you because we're talking about a bar that's been closed for 2 or 3 years still, but you're still, that's what the citizens over there perceive, and that's what you're up against. You understand that?
I completely understand.
Okay.
And,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
and
You have any other questions? Anybody?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Ocampo, I really appreciate you coming to Bellflower to do your business, and I know that you've been there for quite a while. And I just want to echo what Councilmember Snapdragon mentioned, that the entertainment permit it's a privilege that can basically be taken away from you anytime. And again, I just don't want to relive the agony that we had by revoking the CUP of Spikes. That was an agonizing process. And I would advise you that just be a good neighbor.
yeah.
And I have a question. One of the conditions here is, and you mentioned earlier that you're amenable to all the conditions
Yes.
stated here. I'm very particular with condition number 17, which is the roll-up doors.
Yes.
How will you ensure that the roll-up doors will be closed whenever there is entertainment? Give me a level of comfort that if I'm a neighbor, that you will be doing that.
After today, I'll make sure they're closed. No.
Closed.
I
Okay.
managed the place myself, me and my brother. So we completely understand. We're owners and we manage and own the property and the restaurant. So we understand the value of an entertainment permit. And yeah, they're just roll-up doors. They can be closed, and they have to be closed when entertainment. That's
Okay.
what I read on the conditions, and they will be closed because I don't want to be standing here fighting again, over sound or entertainment.
Yeah, I know.
I
it's
got a
not-
business to take care of.
Yeah, I know, it's not pleasant standing there and defending your permit or your
Yeah.
CUP. Yeah, okay, very good, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mr. Garza?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just right quick, I wanted to echo my colleague's sentiments here. Just, it's great to have you in town. I think you're part of the progress that our city is undergoing, and so we appreciate you being here and the investment that you're making in our city. Just a friendly comment. I know that on conditions number 22 and 23, they touch on security personnel. Just my opinion, but I can't overstate how important it is that your security personnel really do monitor not only the inside but the outside.
The outside, yeah.
I think one of the concerns is, once the establishment closes or the entertainment's done, people go out, and they're out in the community, and obviously at that point they're out in the middle of public space, right, which affects some other people. And my experience has been that if you have the right personnel out there doing their job, I think it'll help you in maintaining that order outside. So, again, just a friendly recommendation. But other than that, again, I just wanted to thank you for being in our city. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You got any questions, Mr.
Yes,
Coops?
do I read this right? You'd like to have the music every night of the week?
We don't
Is that what
have-
you're asking for?
Right now, we're not gonna start every day, and the reason why we apply every day, if it's in case one day we're doing a special event, or a special event but we're not.
So you
I'm
don't plan
not-
to have a musician in there every day of every
No, I'm
night?
not planning
Cinco
to.
de Mayo might be on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Well, I get
we
that, right?
we're gonna have,
Yeah.
I don't wanna,
I'm a little
Run,
reluctant
yeah.
to approve a permit that is 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's my concern.
yeah, I completely understand, but no, there's special days, like you say, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, days like that fall in weekdays, during weekdays, so
Right.
that's the reason.
But if we were to condition this that Friday, Saturday, and Sundays are fine, and during the week, for special occasions,
Yeah.
would that be
It wouldn't be a
amenable?
problem, I would be,
I'm just a little concerned.
yeah, I would be more
That every day of
than,
the week that you have a party.
I could worry that, I could worry that.
Okay. That's
If
all
you
I have.
wanna put as a
Yeah,
condition, we could
you
worry
hit
that.
on one of my concerns too. It was that, And I did happen to drive by with those doors open with entertainment. You know, it was pretty loud.
Okay.
So it is,
Close the
with the
doors.
doors closed, I know it's going to be a lot better. How many, what, are you, is it going to be like the same band all the time? Do you know if it's just going to be a keyboard, a couple guitars and drums, or it's going to be different bands coming through? It's
No,
going to be air?
it's the same band. We do not change the band. Oh, I don't want to change the band because then
So
it
it's
becomes
mainly
an
the same
issue.
band? Okay.
You train only once and you're done.
You
I
train
don't want
once
to
for
train
the-
every
for that little
band
stage,
every
yeah.
weekend. You train once, they learn the process, they know the rules, they know the conditions, and that's it. I don't. It becomes an issue if you have different bands playing every week. That's not what I want. I don't want to go through that.
Yeah. Is it a mixture of horns and guitars, or all guitars? Or-
It's a guitar, a drummer, and a piano man.
Yeah, okay, so it's like three, and then a singer.
And two
Yeah.
singers, yeah.
Two singers,
So it's
okay.
five.
Okay. Other than that. And if noise limits get where they're spilling out beyond where they should, and you said you were amenable to extra soundproofing within the building?
Of course, always.
Would you be, with that said, would you be amenable to adding a condition here tonight that would abide you by that? As far as if noise gets, the
That's-
decibels are loud enough,
that's
that it
okay with me.
warrants extra sound, that it must be done, or the CUP, the entertainment permit will be revoked?
That's okay with me.
That's okay, okay. Do you foresee Sundays, entertainment Sunday night till 10 o'clock?
No, that's Sunday brunch, I believe. It's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
What's that? Well, here you're asking for 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
It's 3 p.m.
That's what
I think
hours
we're
are.
looking at the opening
our
day. I
hours
mean,
are
that's
open.
the hours.
They're open,
That's
okay.
our hours.
That's
yeah.
our
Until
hours, we
3.
got it, 10 to 3, I see it. It's 10 to 3, okay.
The Sunday brunch,
Yeah,
that's
8:30, 12. Okay, got
one
it.
person.
Yeah, no, okay, that's better.
That's
I
a
was like,
background.
whoa.
Sunday brunch is a background
Yeah, right.
acoustical.
Gotcha. No, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, that's all the questions I got, unless you have more questions
Yeah.
for us.
Just for the people that stand out and say something, they can always go into calaveras.la. They can email any questions, any requests, any complaints. I get those emails right on my phone. So if they have an issue or a complaint or comment about the future events, they can always go through calavera.la. There's the info email. They can email me, and I get that right on my phone. So they can be in contact with me if they have any questions or concerns.
Okay.
Make sure and provide that to the gentleman who gave testimony.
Yeah.
And
Why don't
if
you
you
give me
really
your
want to
card?
be noble, give him your cell phone.
Yeah, I could do that. I don't know. I don't answer after 10.
All right,
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll
Okay.
do that. I have no problem.
yeah.
We'll make it work for
Yeah.
everyone.
Well, we want to be partners with you.
Yeah,
We really do.
We're all
It's- we're not-
partners.
yeah.
People don't understand, but we're all partners here.
What we
If
do is-
everybody does well, the city does well,
Yeah.
and we all grow together.
Well, you've seen the changes that are going there since you've been
It's,
there.
it's
so out in
amazing.
that street.
It's amazing.
It's going to be better.
And everybody was scared. Everybody was telling me not to come to Bellflower, but so far it's been amazing. It's been a great experience, and we're really happy. Yeah, the summer's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, and we'll hear from the audience, and we'll give you, if somebody else comes up, we'll give you a chance to rebut
All
or
right, thank
whatever.
you.
Answer some questions, because usually we draw more questions out. Public hearing's still open. Does anybody else want to come to the podium and talk about this item?
I do.
Okay,
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, Mayor.
thank you.
I
Exter.
heard you got engaged.
Okay, hi, everyone. I have a question about, I'm not opposed to entertainment on the boulevard. You know, I'm all for it, all growing Bellflower. However, if they're going to be required to close down their lock shutter doors, there's going to be no exit for the patrons on Bellflower Boulevard, or?
Yeah, there is. There's a door. They got a
Oh,
regular
okay, that
storefront
one door. Oh,
They got a
okay.
storefront door.
Okay, so the door closes without the
Yeah,
shutters down?
just like a
Okay, that
regular
was-
retail
That was
door.
just kind of my concern about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we still have a door.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Yes. Run.
You need to go there more often.
Hi, Chrissy Padilla-Berkey. Hi, Benson, old neighbor. I used to live at Belmont Court, and we actually live a couple blocks away now, but I just wanted to say, as a resident who likes to go on walks late at night with my husband or sometimes by myself, I really appreciate you guys having business. I feel safer when there's like music and stuff happening on the boulevard. I do understand the noise, and so I don't want to disrespect my old neighbors because I know that that can be a concern, but I just hope that you guys realize people in my generation and those of us who like to walk around in the downtown, we really do enjoy having businesses open late at night, hearing the music and things like that. So just wanted to speak in support of you guys as well. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we're good. Anybody want to,
Just some technical question that I'm sure that the Calaveras are willing to work with the noise level, but I just want to have a concern. So when you say when the door opens, basically whatever they have done in the soundproofing, there's a leak. So I want to understand. Do you know how soundproof works? Because I actually work in I'm a musician, so I know like the soundproofing.
You need to address that.
Yeah. So soundproofing actually means that you actually have to close to you have to have solid mass in between your noise.
I don't
and
care
open
how
area.
it's done. That's not my
Yeah.
expertise.
So
It just can't spill
exactly.
out.
So that's why my concern is when they need to have an exit door towards the Bellflower Boulevard, the soundproof will basically have a hole. When the soundproof, whatever the glass door or the gate door they have, as soon as people start coming in and out of the restaurant with the mute live band still going on, technically there's no soundproof because every split of a second people open the door, the sound comes out. So I just want to point out the technicality of there's some issues over there. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to address that concern because I'm speaking for myself. I don't want the downtown to be so quiet, okay? Because otherwise, it's not downtown anymore. I think it has to be managed level of noise. Because just like what Mrs. Berkey said, the noise illustrates there's presence of people, okay? Because if we build all the buildings to be soundproof, that whenever you open the door, you can even hear the noise, what is downtown for anyway? You might as well live in a monastery.
There is a difference between...
No, you're done, sir. I'm just addressing the people here because there's to be a right balance between soundproofing, between noise, and between what we're trying to make downtown to be. It's downtown Bellflower, okay? It's not a monastery, it's not a convent that is going to be so quiet. So that's just my point.
Thank you, Sonny.
Mr. Mayor, I could just...
Mr. Garza, go ahead. You want to add?
Just kind of piggyback on what Mayor Pro Tem Santa Ynez said, that I think when we, respectfully, but when we move to a downtown area, I think there's an expectation that there's going to be things that come with a downtown, right? And so just want to put that out there. I think and frankly, just as a reminder, with some of the projects that are coming online in downtown, this is probably going to be one of the first ones that we're going to start dealing with because there's going to be more projects coming into the downtown, and we're seeing the renaissance. So I just definitely want to prepare everyone that there's probably going to be more activity like this coming up instead of less. So just, again, reminder that if you live in the downtown, there's an expectation in terms of the standard of living you're going to have by living in the downtown. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, you may.
Hi, name is Rick Dean. For the last 15 years, I ran a little division out of San Rafael, California called THX. And it's about big sound. If you've been to a theater or a movie theater, you saw that big THX come up. And so we were involved with designing the acoustics. Acoustics itself is not going to solve the problem. But there's also, in every type of theater, electronic devices that'll go inside, and based on a series of very simple tests, a proof of performance can be worked out, so that with the acoustics that he might do a best practices on, he might do various things. There's going to be some inside devices that if the sound gets too extreme, it's going to trigger some red lights. It's a very simple thing to do. It's done for movie theaters, it's done for live event venues that are smack dab against apartment buildings. It works. So I would recommend that this council work with the vendor to establish that performance. And it's not hard to do.
Does that equipment, I guess it wouldn't, because if it's a live band, it wouldn't automatically turn it down, I guess, but just puts does it actually red lights that go off for?
It can send an email to the owner.
Send an email,
So
okay.
this gentleman doesn't have to call a cell phone. Okay? But the point is that we're talking about a lot of things that might happen, could be.
Right.
Okay, well, it's all provable with testing. And there's a lot of companies out there that'll take and do it. You don't have to spend a lot of money in it. Probably with the stuff that we have, I can fire up my iPhone and get all the tools necessary to do most of it. I'm not selling you on anything. But I'm just saying, it's not difficult. And we can, argue with what may happen until midnight tonight.
Yeah.
It's not going to get us, any further along with this. Design the testing criteria, and if there are parameters, go in there and do the testing so that you're happy, the city's happy, the residents are happy. Make it done. Make it happen.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. More technology than I thought was out there. I also know about decibels. Anyway, I'd entertain a motion to close the public
Before we do
hearing
that,
as
Mr.
long,
Mayor,
if there's nobody else coming.
I'd like to clarify before we close the public hearing. How are we going to implement if we were to go with the limited number of days, of nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and open for special occasions? So what's going to be the mechanism for the applicant to trigger that special occasion?
The TUP, like you've been using?
So I just want to ask the applicant while the hearing, are you okay with that, applicant? Okay.
All right, so he's good with that, okay.
Move to
Okay.
close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay.
There you go.
Without objection, that'll be the order. Be here all night. All right, council discussion. You heard all these wonderful ideas. We know that staff wants the doors closed. That was a concern that I had. We know it's in the conditions. Further sound absorption or whatever, and this gentleman came up and there is a technology out, but I think that's more of an onerous thing. It's an onerous, that's what he's gonna do to fix the problem as soon as there's a complaint, or he has to, figure it out before he starts. That's my opinion. What's your flavor, guys?
Well, I'm ready to make a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for the City Council of the City of Bellflower to approve Resolution 18-10, a resolution approving entertainment permit case number EP 1801 with two modifications, one on the days of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with additional days by temporary permit, and also to revisit the sound, the level of sound, should there be complaints in the future.
I'll second that.
Did I cover that?
Before he seconds it, Juan Garza had a good comment about the security guards to make sure it's their job to control the surrounding parking lots, that people aren't too loud at the cars that are 300 feet away.
Should we
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying,
add it to
if you're,
just
it's your,
modify,
it's your motion.
just modify that condition anyway?
Yeah.
To make sure that the guards also keep track of the surroundings when the facility is closed.
Because we did that with the French Quarter.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So 3 modifications,
Yeah.
3 amendments.
Okay, we got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem.
There's a question from the acting director.
Condition number 23 includes the security guards monitoring the parking lot
Marketing
area.
parking lot.
Oh,
Okay.
I did already?
Okay.
Okay, all right, good.
Okay. Reminder, yeah. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Sunny Santa Ynez and a second by Councilmember Ron Snobleger. Call roll, please.
Councilmember Garza,
Aye.
Councilmember Coops,
Aye.
Councilmember Schnableger,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Santinez.
Aye.
Mayor Dutton.
Aye.
Would you like a piece of candy?
Okay. Mr. Stewart, item 12B.
This is consideration of possible action to conduct a public hearing to receive comments on the fiscal year 2018-2019 draft HUD Annual Action Plan and preliminary CDBG and home funding recommendations. We have this, Mr. Nguyen and Mr. Delalonga for the staff report, and they're coming right up. So-
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Item 12B tonight is the public hearing on the 2018-2019 Draft Annual Action Plan. The action plan is a federal requirement for entitlement jurisdictions that receives federal CDBG or Community Development Block Grants and Home Partnership Investment Funds. The annual action plan is one of 3 federal requirement documents. The first being the 5-year consolidated plan, which outlines the 5-year goals, objectives, and the use of the CDBG and home funds. The other one being the consolidated annual performance evaluation report, which describes accomplishments from previous fiscal year. Tonight's item is the annual action plan, which describes the anticipated goals and accomplishments in the upcoming fiscal year. The annual action plan, as mentioned, governs 2 sets of funds. The first is the Community Development Block Grants. These funds are used primarily for benefiting low and moderate income with a goal towards eliminating blight and slum. These funds are pretty flexible and can be used to fund housing activities, public facilities, economic development, public services, relocation, and technical assistance to nonprofit. The second set of funds is the Home Investment Partnership Funds. These funds are a little bit more restrictive and can use primarily for housing activities benefiting low-income residents. Eligible activities under the HOME program include homeowner rehabilitation, home buyer activities, rental assistance, and tenant-based rental assistance. The proposed 2018-2019 budget for CDBG is as follows. On the revenue side, we anticipate to receive $968,000 from the federal government. We anticipate to carry over $337,000 from this year's fiscal activities, and we anticipate to receive $2,500 in program income. On the expenditure side, staff is proposing $18 to go towards fair housing, which is a mandatory requirement as set forth by the federal government. Another $20,000 is allocated for the Good Soils program with Kingdom Causes Bellflower. $110,000 is allocated towards the volunteer center. $119,000 is for CDBG administration. $270,000 is for code enforcement. $470,000 is for Section 108 loan repayments, and the remainder, $300,000, is for the Coke Parks improvement. On the home side, for the home budget, on the revenue, we anticipate to receive $289,000 from the federal government, carry over $255,000 from this year's activity, and we anticipate to receive $204,000 in program income for next year. Expenditures include home administration, single-family rehabilitation, first-time homebuyers, with the remaining going to a future CHODO project, and CHODO is a nonprofit affordable housing developer. So in conclusion, staff is recommending to open the public hearing, take documentary and testimonial evidence, and after considering the evidence, schedule a second public hearing for a city council meeting, or alternatively, discuss and take other actions related to this item. That concludes staff's presentation. We'll be available for any questions or comments.
Any questions of staff, guys?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, could you go back to the previous slide? For first-time home buyers program, when was the last time we gave grants for first-time home buyers?
The program has been active since July of 2015. We've only been managed to be able to fund one applicant since. The challenge with that program is that they have to be of low income, and typically the housing market right now is very expensive. The city subsidizes up to $50,000, but and even that is not enough to make it affordable for most people.
So,
we subsidize up to 50. The one that we applicant is 50.
But if you were to make an average, what, 300,000 to get it to qualify? Housing?
They have to pay 30% of their income, so it would.
If you look at average housing costs of $550,000.
so it's a catch-22.
Yeah, it's catch-22.
You have to be poor enough to qualify and yet make enough money to make the mortgage payment.
Right.
So the window is, I'm just trying to illustrate that the window is so tight.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why it's not being used.
It gets worse as the property values get higher.
Right, exactly.
Right. The intents are good, but the execution is wanting. Yeah.
But if we will not be able to use this money this year, hopefully we can, okay, hopefully we can. But if we can't, then can we carry it over to the next year?
Yes, HUD's getting a little more restrictive with how we allocate the funding, so it's actually less flexible now than it was 2 years ago. With the first-time home buyers, we can allocate it. Typically, the leftover funds go into the CHODO project.
Well, what I'm asking, let's say you raise the number to 100,000 per home, which would open the door to a few more. Are you allowed to do that, or is that a federal standard at 50?
No, there's a maximum subsidy limit.
That's it, okay.
Yes.
So
What is
50 is the cap?
The 50 is the cap?
No, it's higher than that, but I would have to look. It's published every year.
Why don't you
okay,
research the cap and get back to council on that?
So that would be an
Okay.
option
Yeah.
to raise the cap?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, yeah, okay. All right, very good, thank you.
Any other questions? No. I'll move we open the public hearing.
Second?
Anybody out there want to speak on this item? Not seeing any, I'll move we close the public hearing.
Second that motion.
And we're going to schedule a second public hearing. Is there going to be a date uncertain?
No, you can do it. You can put a date, sir. You ready to go tonight?
The 23rd, April 23rd.
April 23rd. Okay, without objection, we'll have the second public hearing on this on April 23rd.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Stewart, you want to fill us in on 12C?
Yeah, this item, I'm going to go ahead and read this for the record now, but what we are, just for everybody's interest, we are interested in requesting a continuance of this item for 2 weeks. With some details we need to work out. It's a pretty complex issue, but by way of reading it, I'll just do it now. Consideration of possible action to 1, conduct a public hearing to consider a mitigated negative declaration, the zone change, a precise plan, a development review, and a tentative map. 2, consider public art built for industrial proposal on the project site. 3, adopt resolution number 18-11, a resolution adopting mitigated negative declaration number MND 17-03, approving precise plan case number PP 17-02, approving development review case number DR 9-17-8380, approving tentative plan number TT 77198, and approving a public art proposal for property located at 9958 Artesia Boulevard. Applicant is City Ventures. We're requesting today read by title only, waive further reading, introduce ordinance number 1356, an ordinance approving zone change case number ZC 70-03 to change the zone from M1 Light Industrial District to M1 PD Light Industrial Plan Development Overlay Zone on the property located at 9958 Artesia Boulevard. And again, we're looking for opening the public hearing and continuing for 2 weeks.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I need to recuse myself from this item,
Okay.
so I'm going to step out.
Let the record show that Councilmember Snobliger is going to recuse himself when he steps out, and,
Mr. Mayor,
yes?
I have a property conflict as well.
And let the record show that Mr. Coops is going to recuse.
The immediate-
Yeah, go say hi to the audience.
Yeah, immediate past mayor.
Yeah. Hey, don't go far, it's not going to be long.
He's going to party.
Yeah. Okay, okay, we want to open the public hearing, and we're going to continue it to a date certain? What's the date? I forgot. Okay. April 9th, I won't be here. If these two conflicted out, you only got 2. Just doing some math.
Yeah, exactly.
Thought we just save you the grief later. But you can draw straws. Do a special meeting?
How about a special meeting?
Special meeting. Sometime this week? Or after it, or we can do a special meeting.
Why don't we just go ahead and continue the item to April 9th? If we end up doing a special meeting, we'll just call a special meeting and do the item then. Or we can't do that.
Because I'll be going from the 9th.
I think you need to schedule now.
We do. We'll do a week from tonight. Can we do it?
Hold on.
That's
All
fine.
right.
Just-
Friendly reminder, I'm
No, you're out. So Thursday?
This Thursday.
Well, I guess it's just enough time to notice it and
Yeah.
go, yeah.
Yeah, this Thursday.
Yeah, we could continue to this Thursday.
what time?
6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
April 5th?
April the 29th. I'm sorry, did you say the 29th or the 5th?
No. You want next Thursday?
Next Thursday
It's
is,
April 5th.
it's up to you,
Yeah,
council. I was thinking this Thursday.
I'm not
He's
here
out of
that whole
town. That's
week.
why I was thinking,
Oh,
do it the
this
29th.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone from the 9th to the 13th.
right. So let's shoot for this Thursday,
This
6
Thursday is
o'clock.
good for me.
29th.
Do we have enough time to notice?
Yeah, we could do it, notice, if we get it out, right? Good.
Rowena got enough time?
No, we're going to continue, right?
Well, we could,
Yeah, it's a continuance.
I don't think it's 72 hours.
The continuance, though.
Because you have to notice it. You have to notice it.
oh, we could. We continue the night, continue again. Sorry, we could do that. We could continue to the 9th, and then you're out till when?
I'll be back the following Monday.
You'll be back on that Monday?
Yeah, I'll be back on the 14th.
So we could do the special on the 16th and make it fly.
On the 16th.
Yeah.
The 16th, yeah.
Yeah,
Does that
that's
work for
fine.
you, Will? Okay, the 16th then, all right.
Okay.
Continue to the 16th, right?
Yeah, do it directly to the 16th, and then the 23rd would be second read.
Right.
So we're still good.
We can still do it, right? Yeah, 6 o'clock work for, 6 o'clock, 16th.
Okay, I want to make a motion that we open the public hearing for 12C and continue it to April 16th. I need a second.
Second. Yeah, sorry.
You said April 16th or April 9th?
April 6th.
Do the 16th. So we're going to skip 9. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of dates thrown out there.
So, there's so many dates.
A lot of dates. Well, that was complicated. Okay, item 13, we have no ordinances or resolutions, and then we have a consideration item, item 14A. Unfortunately, I have to conflict myself at a 14.
So we need to call back council member Coops.
Yeah. Mr.
Snapplager.
Coops, and Mr. Snobbliger, if you're within the audio, come back.
to be conflicted out.
No.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Schnabel is conflicted out of this one.
But he needs to declare it.
Oh, yeah, he's out of this one, yeah, okay, but he has
Yeah.
to state it. Okay. Let the record show that I'm going to recuse myself from 14A and 14B and turn the gavel over to Mayor Pro Tem Sonny Santanez and Ron.
Put them to work.
Are you
I'm
conflicted?
conflicted out too. Why'd you come get me?
Well, did you put it, you didn't put it on the record last time?
Oh.
Yeah, that's why.
Let the record show that I have to conflict myself out from 14A and 14B.
Wow. This gavel transferred twice tonight.
You never have a conflict, Sonny.
No. Once.
Once.
You only did it for Tim, you already got the
I
gavel.
know, right? No, he gave it to me. So. Okay, item 14A, Mr. Stewart.
This is consideration possible action to award a design-build contract to Balfour Beatty for the regional transit center and parking structure, and authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Balfour Beatty. Mr. Gorecki is going to make the staff report.
Okay, Mr. Gorecki.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Before you tonight, we have our consideration item for the design-build contract for the Regional Transit Center. Back on January 15th, the Public Works Department released an RFP to 3 pre-qualified construction firms that perform this type of work. The bids were due on March 14th. At that time, the city received 1 proposal out of the 3 pre-qualified design-build firms. The loan proposal we received was from Balfour Beatty with Silman Wright as their architects in the amount of $10.3 million. The proposal has been reviewed by city staff and meets all the technical requirements set forth in the design-build RFP. Although only 1 proposal was received, the city staff is very familiar with Silman Wright Architects, as they were the architect of design on the main event center and fire museum projects. So we just finished a 2-year job with them. So we're very comfortable and happy that they proposed on this. Upon completion of the contract documents with Balfour Beatty, the city will enter into a design phase of the project, which is anticipated to take 3 to 4 months to complete that design work. From then, we'll start construction immediately thereafter and work to get this thing wrapped up as quick as we can. The fiscal impact, as I said, is $10.3 million for the project. The city currently has $9.8 million available through COP bonds that we issued in January of this past year. Anything above the $9.8 million would be funded through Proposition A transit funds. So any difference above the $9.8 million, whatever the final cost is here for the project, we would use Prop A funds to pay that difference. The recommendation to the City Council is to authorize the City Manager to execute a design-build contract with Balfour Beatty in a form approved by the City Attorney, or alternatively, discuss and take other action related to this item. I have a couple slides here I'd like to show you. You can see the design that we've received. Just real quick, some of the highlights. The regional destination for bus routes, both regional and our local shuttle. The transit center will also be adjacent to the bike and pedestrian trail and the future Eco Rapid rail stop in downtown Bellflower. There's a total of 305 parking spaces proposed in this project. 153 of them are compact, 122 are standard, 22 are electric vehicle high occupancy slots, and then we have 8 ADA slots. In total, there's over 103,000 square feet of floor area with the maximum height, which would be the top of the tower that you'll see in the photos, of 55 feet, which meets all our standards for downtown. Parking structure appearance will mimic the Bellflower Event Center and Fire Museum directly across the street. It will have a prominent tower and stairwell on the front side. Normally you'll see those in the back of parking structures, but we're going to move it up to the front and use it as a feature piece for the to complement the main event center. And then it'll have several features such as lockable bike storage and additional bike racks due to its the regional transit purpose. This is kind of the floor plan. You can see how they've aligned it. What you have immediately here to the north would be the Metro right-of-way, or also known as the Bellflower Bike Trail. You have Bellflower Boulevard right here. Then you have Main Street right down here. And currently, we know this as Pacific Avenue, but we've started the process and we'll be vacating that street and eliminating it. It doesn't serve any purpose. There's no businesses, no residential along there, and it's one-way only. In there, it's just mostly curb parking for businesses and residents in the area. This is a view, a model view from the southeast entrance. This would be Bellflower Boulevard right here, and this would be Main Street right here. And once again, this is the view from the southwest corner. So you're, again, Main with the entrance off of Main, Bellflower Boulevard, and then I believe we have both an entrance and exit, or it can be one way if we choose to go another route right there through the back onto Pacific Avenue.
Mr. Gurecki, Pacific Avenue is just one way at the very end, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's 5 residential houses that would continue to be there on Pacific Avenue on the one-way.
So in terms of the people using the parking structure, they can only go out onto Pacific Avenue.
Correct.
They cannot get into coming from Pacific Avenue.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you could, let's go back. You can come here and exit down here on the main. That will be an option. They've done the service road through here. We could leave that as an option to leave it open.
Is that the fire lane?
It is the fire lane, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right now, that's what it's laid out as, is a fire lane.
But it can be used also for entrance and exits?
Yeah, certainly we can talk about
Okay.
that, route traffic that way too. It's an option for us. And again, this is just a relationship to where it would stand with the fire museum. The event center currently sits right here on the corner. And then what you have here is the proposed event center, or the proposed parking structure, excuse me. And then these are some of the features, as I mentioned earlier, where we'll be trying to mimic the existing, the main event center. So the red barrel tile roofs, a prominent tower feature that you see here, and you'll also see it here in the parking structure. Similar lettering and similar designs, 24-inch cornice, you'll see it right here. We have it up here. The faux window detail at the top of the towers, and you get through and you get into the red awnings. The railing will be similar to what we have as well. So Silman Wright did a terrific job, in my opinion, of trying to model this after what we did across the street. So there's going to be a lot of similarities between the two, and again, it will give us a certain prominent landmark right at the entrance into our downtown area. So with that concludes my report. Tonight in the audience, I have Mark Stinnett from Balfour Beatty, as well as Joe Lucido from Silman Wright, and they can come up and answer any questions you guys may have at this time. So I invite you guys up.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. And the first time I saw the drawings here, I was very impressed. I said, without knowing the history about trying to mimic the event center, I said, well, it blends well. That was my comment, and sure enough, it really blended well. And for the sake of the audience, I mean, this is very exciting. To have this kind of building again, right across the event center is really, really exciting. I just have a few questions for you. In your proposal on page 4.1, technical solutions, value-added feature, are those features included in the total price of the project?
They are. We tried to point out a few items in our proposal that might separate us from others. You know, some of the things that we brought in that we hope that others wouldn't be able to copy or mimic. So those are all included.
I see, okay. Now, on the flip side, at the very end, you also have some kind of deductive options? What do you mean by these deductive options?
We know as builders that budget's always a problem for any city, any entity, and we provided some options or things you could delete if you wanted to bring the budget down.
Oh, okay. Because that really scared me when you say deductive options. And I'm glad that Mr. Goraki clarified already that we have sufficient funds to pay for this, right? And
We are funded at this point.
in terms of anything in excess of 9.8, is the well deep enough to
Yes,
pay for any cost overrun, any kind of change order? And you know full well that any construction, there is going to be a change order, right?
There certainly is, and as long as we're not doing something like building a pedestrian bridge over Bellflower Boulevard, we'll be within range.
On what we learned in the Fire Museum, that the additions that were made, the changes that were made were mostly staff-driven, that they brought the price up. So we're all just going to have to ride a pretty disciplined fence here, so.
So there's sufficient fund, we don't need to go to a second COP?
No.
Okay.
No. Never again.
Never again, okay. That is very reassuring.
Not my time.
Never say that.
By the way, COP is the Certificate of Participation.
Participation bonds.
That basically the bonds that we issue to pay for most of the parking structure. Tell us about your concept of the rooftop function area.
Well, we've allocated about 5,000 square feet of what we're calling temporary, because it's not full-time, possible use for gathering space. We did that we wanted to make sure that if you had gathering space.
That's on the fourth floor?
That's on the fourth floor.
Okay.
So if that would transpire, we wanted to have that entry component be just as nice and open and airy, so when you navigate all the way up there, you don't feel like you're in a structure per se, but you've got this nice circulation element taking you all the way up to the rooftop, and then you've got that potential gathering space.
So we can bring canopies there and chairs and tables and things like that?
I heard karaoke's very big here, so.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Up to 5,000 square feet, right?
Up to 5,000 square feet.
Wow, okay. Do we have any provision for, well, City Attorney also, I want to address this issue of, I know that we're using public funds to pay for this building. Even when the traffic is just so much in Bellflower, that there's so many people swarming to Bellflower that we cannot manage parking anymore, that eventually we will have to manage parking and limit enforce, let's say, the 2-hour parking and things like that. And beyond that, we may have to charge people parking using the parking structure. Any provision that we may use later on to provide a mechanism to add pay booths, something like that, and whatever is necessary to put the pay parking structure in the future.
It would really be contingent upon which type system you wanted. There's so many variables for revenue streams of parking structures that some are very minimal and have minimal impact. One of them, my kids are in college, one of them is that you go to a kiosk and pay and put your ticket on the dashboard. And then the patrolman patrols the lot, and if he sees a ticket that's expired, he writes a ticket. So really, there's very little infrastructure required for that because it's just a kiosk, right? But if you wanted a grader system with some types of timers and spaces and things like that, that might require a little more infrastructure. It really depends on what the city wants. And I believe they were looking at possibly adding a smart revenue system later or something like that. So
Based on your other parking structure that you have constructed, what's the most common, what's the most effective system?
the most effective one is actually the patrolman, because that's the one that gets watched by the agency that can collect the revenue, you know. There has to be some means of documenting that your time is up, you know, and it's time to leave. So that's, the ticket on the dashboard is actually one of the most effective ones, and you see that used in a lot of public spaces and things of that nature. Public spaces, parking garages, you know.
And somebody will check the ticket. So for
Yeah.
example, let's say, I'm just kind of throwing some ideas. Let's say if we allow for free parking for 3 hours, and beyond 3 hours, you have to pay
Yeah.
X number of dollars, something like that.
It's an honor system, really. I mean, everybody worries whether they're gonna get caught or they just park there anyway, right? So,
And with technology changing too, depending on when this demand occurs, I just went to a parking structure the other day where I paid on my iPhone. I had a spot reserved, number 200, paid on my iPhone, drove up, found 200, parked and left. And then I'm sitting in a restaurant just adding more time throughout my phone. So one of the things we can do is we can certainly look at the needs and the demand today, but once those demands really occur, we can look at technology in the future and see how we can benefit the city for that.
Yeah, before we go any further on parking, City Attorney, at what point can we charge parking?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, whenever you decide that it's appropriate to do so, you simply make that decision. We'll make some tinkering to the municipal code to allow for it at that particular location, and then install whatever machinery you think is appropriate.
I just want to make sure that we have the infrastructure to accommodate that, should it happen in the future, you know. Because I know there's going to be wirings involved and things like that.
yeah, for most of the systems, it's minimal now because they're limited to one location, you know.
Okay.
And the structure's already gonna have a basic infrastructure within it, so it would be a matter of adding to that.
Yeah, okay, good. Is there any provision for restrooms?
There's not,
None?
no.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for now. Any questions? Mr. Coops?
Mr. Garland?
I do.
Oh, you
just,
do. Mr. Garza.
No, thank you. You're right. There's a lot of features out there that are pretty innovative right now. You know, I've seen some parking structures where you have an actual LED board in front of stalls and have your name, drive up, and it's reserved for you, right? It's really innovative. So, but I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Santa Ynez in terms of one of the things I'd be looking for is to have technology incorporated that we can, you know, switch on in the future, right? And I think as when we go to the design phase, we can talk about those elements, right? So I'm happy to see that that the design phase is coming up, and there's going to be a discussion going on between the ad hoc and you guys. So I'm looking forward to that. Really, just all I have is I know your firm. I know how reputable you guys are. So I'm confident that the quality of work, if so approved, it's going to be really good. The list of subcontractors that I saw in here, again, Bemel is top notch. You know, they're all quality firms, so I'm happy to see that as well. And again, lastly, just the fact that there's flexibility to be able to start tinkering with how to make the structure the best for Bellflower is appreciated. So I just want to make those comments. I do have a question, Mayor Pro Tem, but it's not on them, it's with staff, but I can ask that at the appropriate time whenever you wish. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Mr. Coops?
Yeah, Len, could you put up that initial rendering that you had of the? This one? No, the one at the actual structure, that one. All right, so the audience that's here, and you guys often come to the meetings, and I think about Victor and George and Larry and Bob and Peter. Isn't that cool? What do you think of that building? I mean, that's the first time you've seen it, I'm sure, is tonight. And you can see what we're trying to do. Chrissy, what do you think? Is that cool? Kind of matches, so when you have an entry into Bellflower, you can see on the left, you'll have the the event center. On the right, you'll have this parking structure. And we hope to have this thing done in a couple of years. But I just wanted to, the enthusiasm that you heard from the council, I wanted to see if it was reflected in the audience that's here tonight. B, what do you think?
I was curious, I read parking structure, but the first part of the title was a regional transit center.
B.
How was that going to
Come
be
up, come
woven
up.
in? Oh,
Oh, come over here and
Come over.
You know the drill. Former Mayor Pico Rivera here.
You know the rules, right?
yes, I was wondering why I was allowed to do that. At any rate, the title indicates regional transit center and parking structure. We've heard regarding the parking structure, I was curious as to how the transit aspect of it was going to be woven in.
So its location, just based on where we're putting it, it makes it a hub for several transit systems that are available right now, as well as the future Eco Line that's coming through. So
You're talking about the light rail?
the light rail, correct, yeah. So the light rail is proposed to have a station right there at Bellflower Boulevard adjacent to that. So that takes care of the rail system. We have two different regional transit bus systems that operate right there along Bellflower Boulevard. They both have stops right there.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. They have a stop?
Yeah, they'll have a stop.
There's no entry into the building, or do they go
There's
around
not
it?
there's not a stop per se. It will be on Bellflower Boulevard. It will be a turnout. Let me see here. Be a turnout right in this location along Bellflower Boulevard.
Okay.
So there'll be a turnout lane that's put there for bus, for both regional as well as the city's local shuttle that runs the dial ride that operates here in the city. And then obviously we have the bike trail, which will still continue to be there even after the Eco Rapid line is built. And that's a major link for both bicycles as well as pedestrian traffic throughout the city as it diagonals through our entire community and links up into the city of Paramount, and then links the two riverbeds between the San Gabriel River and the LA River. It's the only trail link that there is between those locations. And if you're involved in the bike world, those are both heavily traveled, and it's very easy for the bicyclist to make their route from one riverbed to the other. So when you put all those components together and given its footprint of where it's situated right there in the city, that's why we're defining it as the regional transit center for us.
And then regarding the bike trail, it's always been a little problematic to get across Beverly Boulevard from one side to the other of the bike trail. How have you simplified that a little bit? Because it was really chancy getting across there all the time.
I mean,
Because what you have the bike trail that's on the west side, it's coming along, and then you have to move over to the side to get across if you're going to use the dotted lines, or you have to go over to either signal. And the traffic there has had challenges. It's really hard to get across. I used to ride it all the time. And so I was wondering how you wove that into the whole picture, because you removed one of these, what is it, Pacific that was there, right?
correct.
You vacated Pacific?
We vacated the one-way portion of Pacific, that's
Yeah,
right there,
okay.
yes.
That helps, because the traffic was whipping around there.
Correct, and as part of the traffic study that we did, what's not shown here because it's separate from the contract, the city will be doing a traffic signal right here at Main
Okay.
as well. So that will help people as they come off the bike trail right here. They'll be
Yes.
able to come, approximately 20, 30 feet right here and be able to cross now at a lighted, controlled traffic intersection, as opposed to right now, we just have the high reflective lights that, we're all familiar with these areas. Some people see them, some people don't when
That's
they're
right.
driving their cars, and it can be dangerous no matter what. So yeah, we'll make it a little more controlled for both pedestrians and bicyclists to cross the street, cross Bellflower Boulevard right there.
Okay, because it really is, I ride it all the time, and it was a little challenging.
Yeah, there's some spots. Again, going back to that project, it's built on Metro right-of-way, and it's
Right.
built with Metro's guidelines, so unfortunately, we have to build things certain ways to their guidelines and everything, but there's some challenges along that trail, but I don't see them being remedied anytime soon, just because
I
it's...
used to be on the Metro board, so.
Oh, there you go. You know the challenges then.
Okay.
Len, so one of the things I'm hopeful that we've got enough money to do is recreate that intersection there, the one that GB was just speaking of, where we have that mosaic in the street in front of the substation and over at Flower Street. You know how you've got the blue and the crosswalk?
Yes.
Are you talking about the scrambled crosswalk?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because that way you could do a diagonal pedestrian walk from the parking structure over to the event center.
We can certainly take a look at that. You put those features in like within 24 hours of having fresh asphalt in the ground, so we would.
But I mean, kind of tie the structures together a little bit.
I see the value in doing that. I mean, it's just something that wasn't thought about, and we certainly can do it. We just, you pull out the asphalt and put new asphalt in and do it on top. There's the cost associated with it, but we can always look at doing it.
Right.
So, and again, we're enhancing pedestrian and vehicles. So anything that's being done for safety and the benefit of pedestrians, bicyclists, and vehicles is usually an eligible use of Prop A and Prop C funds. So.
Okay. I want to thank you guys for the rendition that you've offered. I want to thank you for the great work you did on the Event Center Fire Museum. And when we awarded that to you several years ago, we thought, and I think you agree, that that was going to be something that we would be proud of, and you as construction and architects would always look on back and then say, I did that. And now you've got a frame around the picture, Come on forward.
So I can only speak for Silvernight Architects, and Mark and myself, and Brett and Larry. We were never so pleased. We've never had more fun than working on a project and watching the city come around and have a built project that was just, everyone loves the museum and the event center. So we were really honored to be part of this, and we wanted to do it justice. And you said it best, there is a renaissance, and we're happy to play a small part in that renaissance. So thank you for the opportunity.
So are these red awnings you've got positioned here? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, so we're trying to...
I've never seen a parking garage with red awnings on it, so...
So we're classing it up a little bit, yeah.
It adds character to the building.
We're trying to break down the mass so it doesn't feel like it's just a big, heavy structure sitting on the site. We've done that with a few other elements on the building, so it slowly kind of pulls it apart and it feels like multiple small structures.
You put glass in those openings, you got a church,
Right now
they got
they're
a
just open.
steeple right up there. And Sonny's already anticipating on the third floor Easter sunrise services.
There you go.
But they need to be soundproof though, right?
No, but I want to thank you for all you've done up to this point in the public meeting, and glad that you were able to provide something that we're going to look at approving tonight so that we can continue the vision. And we're just really, you weren't our first choice, and you saw what we went through to get to this. So there's been a lot of whys in the road to get to this point tonight. And I'm just very grateful, because I've had no one in this city come to me and say, boy, that was sure a mistake that you guys put that building up, and so there's a lot of negatives associated with putting $10 million into a building on a boulevard. Absolutely. But when it's all said and done, people are really very proud of what has been accomplished, and you guys got your signature on it, so I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. And the city's got, your city has an amazing staff to work with, I got to say. It's a big team effort, so.
No, and if we can keep the same mojo that you have developed over the last 2 or 3 years, where we got the work done, selfish motivation here, I've got, believe it or not, in 2 years is my 50th class reunion. And so I already signed up for using the event center, all right? And so we need a place to park. So I need to have this thing done by October 2019.
That's it.
I got 2 years.
2 years.
We're parking. Yeah. Otherwise, old Dan's going to look like an idiot in front of the class,
The deadline is November 2019.
Thank you. Yeah.
I won't speak to any deadlines at this point.
But
what I will do is say,
I'm just
I'll
telling
be there
you-
for your party.
Put the pressure on you. But just thank you for offering the chance to do this again. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Coops. Anyone else who want to speak about this agenda item? I know that Mr. Patterson is going to be busy again, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Yes, Mr. Garza.
So, Glenn,
don't mind, can you put up the presentation again? She asked one of the questions I was gonna ask, which is that, that left on, from Main to Bellflower Boulevard, so I'm glad that question was asked.
Mhm.
Can you keep going? It's one of the other, right there.
The other one.
That one's perfect, okay. So you answered this question, right, in terms of, you're gonna have 300 people or 300 cars leaving, and if we have events here, they wanna make that left. Most of them will probably make a right depending if they're going to the freeway, but I had that question in terms of what are we gonna do here to traffic safety, so you answered that. The question I do have though is when we start construction on this light rail here in the next 3 years, how are the improvements made here gonna be impacted by this? Like, will the construction of this, are we gonna have to uproot anything here?
I'm not anticipating that. I mean, everything that we've heard so far, as it relates to how the line is going to lay, it's going to lay on the northern part of the metro right-of-way. It's not going to be necessarily right down the middle. It's not going to be on the right side where the bike trail. I've also heard that they have no intentions of removing the bike trail as it sits right now. So that's what we've been told to date. You know, ultimately, that's Metro's property, and if they come in with a completely different plan on how they want to lay it out, then we're just going to have to, you know, work around it, work with them, and go ahead and make the changes that we need to make. But ultimately, again, controlling this intersection now is very important. Not only for the pedestrians, but also for the bike and pedestrian trail, and make sure the vehicles have an easy opportunity to get out and make their, you know, their lefts and rights coming out of there. So it's much better to control it.
Great, no, thank you for the information, I appreciate that. And I agree with Councilmember Cruz in terms of the monumental, the monument sidewalk here and all that. I think that'd be a great little attention to that, and just to, you know, have the connection between two facilities. Obviously, this is not just going to serve the event center, it's there for the whole, you know.
It's there for the whole shebang. Yeah, it's, you know, when that rail comes in, there's going to be lots of riders parking in the parking structure. When with the fire museum and the main event center, when they have events there, it's going to be huge. And when we do our, you know, our downtown events, it's going to be, you know, huge. Councilmember Dunton said, you know, a while back, he's been waiting for a parking problem, for Bellflower to have a parking problem, and we're at that point now. So this parking structure will certainly alleviate it a little bit, but ultimately, it's going to offer up a lot of locations or spaces for people to park their vehicles for several different events and purposes here in the city.
Absolutely, and I really want to make sure that I commend staff really for this. One of the things that I hear as I'm working on behalf of the city on the light rail line is the challenges that a lot of cities have as they're designing their transit stations that are going to be along this right of way is parking, right? Everything's so built out along this right of way in Paramount and Artesia, everywhere else, that the challenge is the parking, and frankly, a lot of the cities are going to have to displace businesses or some other type of use, and we're lucky enough to have this space open.
Correct.
Right, and so I can tell you that we're the envy of a lot of cities in terms of that, and in terms of the forward thinking that we're doing with the light rail line. So I do want to commend staff on that. Just a couple things more. On the traffic study, did it show anything in terms of the outflow onto Pacific over here, like the impact to that local neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, there is impact. It wasn't anything to put up any red flags whatsoever. Again, I think the thought has always been the majority of the vehicles are going to exit onto Main Street and then out to Bellflower Boulevard at a controlled intersection, and then from there either go north or south on Bellflower. So
That's actually called for right now, but that's before the committee discussed.
Perfect. And I mean, if the traffic studies didn't trigger anything.
yeah, there was nothing substantial that popped up with it.
And then the last thing I had was actually attached to the construction period. I understand there's 543 days.
I believe that's what they put in their proposal. I believe they also had the same amount of days for the event center, and we were well under that time frame. So.
And not to hold up,
Steve, can you squish him? Can you bring him closer to?
Yeah.
It'll be a lot less.
Yeah, We have some off-site work that we have to do that's separate from the contract with Balfour Beatty. There's a lot of utility issues at that location that we have to work through, and we've already started that legwork and getting the involved agencies together. And I was waiting to see this footprint, so now I can say, okay, guys, this is where we're putting it, so how do we work around it? And that's where we're going now. That's the next step, is to work with a couple of the different agencies that present problems for us right now, and get those things relocated.
That completes my questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Garza. All right, Mr. Coops, any more questions? Okay, this is very exciting, so I don't know how we can stop this excitement. So, what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Are you ready for a motion, Mr.?
I'm ready,
Pro Tem?
Mr. Coops.
All right, my motion would be that authorize the city manager to execute a design-build contract with Balfour Beatty in a form approved by the city attorney.
Motion by Mr. Coops, second by Councilmember Garza. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Garza?
Aye.
Councilmember Coops?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Santinas?
Aye. Congratulations. Get to work starting tomorrow. We need to finish it by October 2019 for Mr. Coops, okay? All right, Mr. Stewart, item 14B.
This is the companion piece to what you just discussed. It's consideration of possible action to form an ad hoc subcommittee to consider and make recommendations regarding the Regional Transit Center project at Bellflower Boulevard and Main Street.
All right.
I'd like to nominate Sonny Sanyanez to be on that board.
And I respectfully, I'd like to volunteer to be on this ad hoc as well.
It's a tough one. Thanks for the nomination, Mr. Coops. I was kind of thinking about this. The parking structure is basically a complement of the event center and fire museum, and I think that I appreciate the service of Mr. Coops in terms of the event center and fire museum, and I like the continuity of his service to spill over into the parking structure, at the same time also inject new blood, so to speak. So I would like to invite Mr. Coops to be part of that committee.
Okay. I accept.
Well, you have now 3 names and 3 people.
I know.
Draw straws.
And
I know.
And the reason for the interest, and frankly, this is not the first time that I expressed an interest in this, and I definitely respect the direction that we've heard here so far, but I think with the tie-in with the light rail, the fact that it's right next door, and this is going to be a vital part of that, and since I'm the city's representative on that, that's the interest that I have in that as well. So.
Hang on a second.
Can you have a 3-member committee, is what you're saying?
But we have to notice all the meetings.
What's that?
We have to notice all the meetings.
Oh, I see, because now we got a quorum.
Right,
We
exactly.
could do a 3-member committee if we'd have to notice the meetings. Do you anticipate weekly meetings, or is these going to be every other week, every
No,
month?
this will not be the frequency we did with the fire museum.
So are you looking at like something of the roughly of the equal of maybe in the beginning, a couple of meetings every 2 weeks, and then every month after that? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I don't really see the design being much more than probably a handful of meetings that, we spread out over a couple months.
We could meet that threshold. We could meet that with noticing the meetings with 3 people. So if you wanted to change the status and give it. Special meeting, right, special meeting of the council.
Well, I want to make sure that the progress is not hampered because of the city council decision.
I don't think it would be, because you could notice a special meeting, how many, 24 hours notice. So I think we could make that work. It actually, truthfully, makes things a little easier.
Well, it's still three members because the others are conflicted out anyway.
Correct, it's just, you've become a three-member committee, which, three-member council, making all
Yeah,
decisions,
exactly.
yeah.
So as long as, I just want to be sure to state that as long as the progress is not hampered because of difficulty of getting to a meeting.
Do you anticipate a problem of noticing a meeting 24 hours in advance if we, okay, then I don't think that's an issue.
Okay?
Oh, we got the best of both worlds.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good to go.
All right, so
And
the,
if one of us can't make it, we still got two at the meeting.
we still have the quorum, right?
So, no, all you need, you basically, the other two are conflicted out of the process, so
No,
basically.
no. They're out anyway.
Right.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council, you would have special council meetings. If one person left or was unable to attend, you would not have a quorum for an actual
So
meeting.
all three got to be there to
But
make it
that
work.
doesn't mean that two people can't show up and discuss the matter and then
Right.
recommend to, at the next council meeting
Oh, that's right.
what to vote upon.
Because we're not making any decision anyway.
Correct, there's no downside to it, yeah, so.
No, I think
Any decision that's made is gonna go to the full
To the
council.
council anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Which is these
Which
three.
is back to the three again. It's, okay.
That was my concern. I don't want it to impede the progress of the structure if this has to be done in such a way that notify
Actually,
and everything.
I think this provides some latitude, makes it easier with three, you get two
That's
there.
good.
We get two, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the action is basically, we have a three-member ad hoc committee.
I think that there's no action required because
Well, that's the action.
we have to notice the meeting.
And there's no objection, right?
No.
No?
Okay, there's no
Not at all.
objection. Okay, all right.
Yeah?
All right. So we took care of that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right,
All
very
right,
good.
Cool.
So can we call the other two so we can close the meeting? Let the record reflect that Mayor Dutton and Councilmember Schnabberger are rejoining the meeting. Thank you for the gavel. Pretty good. We just spent $10.3 million.
Glad you did. Oh, okay. Let the reflector, let the record reflect that the mayor and Councilmember Snobleger is on the dais. Oh, before I go any further, there's a Kindle that was found outside here on a couch. Anybody missing a Kindle?
Okay.
Gentleman in the back there. Did you know it was missing?
No.
Well, then you weren't stressed out or anything.
Is it really yours?
Chapter 7 it's on.
Yeah, thank you.
He forgot where he was, he didn't know where our couch was. All right. I always like it when stuff like that happens and you find the person. Okay, consent calendar. And where am I? Any items need to be pulled or recused on? Juan, do you have anything?
Not all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Mr.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to kind of pull item 15H for just a question and comment.
15H for Sunny.
Not separate vote, just comment and
Yeah, right,
question.
there's a comment. Mr. Coops
No, I have nothing to pull.
and Mr. Snobleger.
No, thank you, sir.
I need to recuse myself from 15E and 15F, so let the record reflect that for me. And, okay, Sonny, you're the only one that has a comment. You want to comment on 15H?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on this and also a question later on. Item 15H is regarding HR 620, the Education Reform Act of 2017. It's basically trying to stop abusive lawsuits pertaining to ADA. What happens here is scrupulous attorneys will go around different establishments, try to find a defect in terms of ADA compliance, and try to get some money from the owner of the establishment under the guise of filing a lawsuit. And more often than not, they just settle and things like just for the lawsuit to go away. And basically, to me, it's just kind of an extortion of money. So I'm glad that the House of Representatives is taking a stand on this issue, and it's now up to the U.S. Senate to pass the same bill. So my question is to staff is, are we working with the League of California Cities to make sure that other cities are doing the same thing?
This came from the league originally.
From the League,
Yeah.
okay. So all the neighboring cities are doing the same thing?
Yeah, and we can
Okay.
make sure that we send a notice out to our neighbors as well that we did this. So
Okay,
we'll
very
remind
good.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Clerk, the motion is for Coops and the second is by Santa Ynez. Yes,
Sorry,
that's okay.
I'm going to put a monkey wrench in this last conversation.
Yes.
I would like to file a rebuttal and ask you to reconsider this motion.
For what? Which item?
Because
What,
The ACLU, I mean the ADA,
ADA?
yes. Because contrary to what you are saying, this is not actually what's going to happen. And I would like you to just give me a minute so I can read this,
Okay.
so I can let you know the opposite opposing view.
All right.
Okay? So HR 620 removes incentives established by the ADA by removing incentives to businesses to comply with the law by placing excessive burdens on the individuals with disabilities. Title III of the ADA prohibits places of public accommodations such as grocery stores, doctor's offices, recreation facilities, private schools, homeless shelters, to name a few, from discriminating against people with disabilities. If a person with a disability encounters an architectural barrier that prevents them from accessing the business, they have three options under the ADA. Speak with the business, file a complaint with the Department of Justice, or file a lawsuit as provided under the law. The ADA, the ADA Education and Reform Act upends a key provision of the ADA by preventing people with disabilities from immediately going to court to enforce their rights and to press for timely removal that barrier be removed. That means that if this is enacted, people with disabilities won't have access for weeks, months, or possibly years, as it removes any incentive for businesses to proactively comply with the ADA. This change in the law would be a boon for businesses at the expense of the disabled. This legislation requires people with disability to jump through numerous and procedural hoops before they are even able to file a lawsuit to protect their rights, and also removes any reason for those being sued to comply with the ADA. Instead of complying with the law, they will now be able to wait until a customer confronts an obstruction and completes the notification process. Under this legislation, the business is required to make a substantial, quote-unquote, progress in removing the barrier described in the notice. The business could wait years without actually removing barriers and not face any penalties as long as they can show, quote, substantial progress was made. There would be no incentive for the business to learn about the ADA compliance and take steps prior to notification. Wait and see would become the norm. Another thing this bill would do is effectively change Title III's requirement from providing access to making substantial progress in removing barriers. Progress is not access. Changing the standard under the ADA from access to substantial progress would not only harm the civil rights of people with disabilities, but it would also increase litigation due to uncertainties about what constitutes substantial progress. The pundits who want to have this bill passed are claiming that lawsuits under Title III of the ADA expose businesses to big damage awards and attorney fees. That is false. It's already in the ADA, and an individual who files a lawsuit and is successful is entitled to removal of the barrier and attorney fees. There are no monetary damages. The truth is that complying with the ADA is no more burdensome for them than complying with other laws, and there are ample resources to aid with compliance. Anyone who is interested, and I will give this to you if you are, and I'm doing this for the people that are going to be watching, you can go to www.aclu.org/other, OTHER/HR-620-MYTHS myths-and-TRUTHS about-ABOUT-ADA-reform-act. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I was going to just ask a question. But instead, don't you think, if you're a business, do you really want to lose, I assume disabled people also have the same money as able people. Don't you think there's a motive to change things? Because you don't want to lose that kind of business? I'm just curious, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If they don't come in, they don't put money in.
Not if there's only 200 disabled people coming into a business. They would
Robin.
spend the money to remove a barrier because it's expensive.
We have that scam going around this city, and it has been an item for many businesses in this community that where a person has come in and has been refused services for ADA and a lawyer is right behind them. So yes, that does happen, and I thank you, Sunny, for supporting it.
In the interest of peace in the valley, can I suggest an alternative here? Being that we've touched upon some raw emotions on both sides of the issue here, I think, I'd like to meet with Ms. McGinnis and Mr. Santanez. We'll have a discussion. I'll bet we can find a middle ground, and we'll bring it back in 2 weeks, if the council's okay with that.
Is it, Mr. Mayor, just real quick, is it time sensitive?
I don't think so.
Taking a position on this?
I know my position.
I
I
know
think
your
I know Sonny's
position.
position.
You know my position.
I know your position because he's the victim. Okay?
Or not.
Or not, I guess not.
Okay, we got a motion. We got a motion and a second on the floor. Without objection, that'll be the order.
There you go.
Good night.
I am doing this as totally non-discriminatory.
Okay.
Both sides of the issue.
Make sure I wasn't missing anything here.
There's a whole
Okay.
consent agenda?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just one vote, yeah. We're good.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call for adjournment to the next regular council meeting for the City of Bellflower at 5:30 PM on Monday, April 9th. Okay. No comments.
But I didn't get a talk.
We're late.
I didn't get.
Pardon? My dad used to in Bellflower with them.